to the Irish Roots Festival 2021. My name is Elaine Cruz, and I have the absolute pleasure of speaking to the man, the myth, the legend, and my brother, Mr. Graham Cruz.
Hey, sis.
Hi, brother face. How the hell are you?
I'm really good. I'm really good.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm good. I'm hanging out in Miles, as you do.
As you do on a bank holiday.
Sure, what else would you be doing on a bank holiday Monday? I'm very excited to talk to you, as I always am. But I'm also a little bit nervous that there's other people listening.
Well, when's that ever gotten in your way before?
Exactly. So let's see where this conversation goes. So for anybody who doesn't know you, you are, and I know I'm your sister and I know a lot about you, but I actually had to write a list because this is how impressive you are. So you are a stylist to the stars, a music video director, fashion designer, former TV presenter, choreographer, pop star, actor, baker, and we're only short of candlestick maker. and I know that I might seem biased as your sister, but I can hand on heart say I think you are one of the coolest people that I know and an absolute creative force to be reckoned with. And if I didn't own you, I'd probably really dislike it. Because to be fair, it's a bit much.
Wow. Too kind.
Yeah. So you're a bit of a jack of all trades, but, and this is my opportunity to have a little bit of sister bragging rights. Can you tell us a little bit about your most recent work?
My most recent work. So I'm working as, at the moment, I started a fashion label. So I'm making a women's wear label, and it's been going really well. I've had the opportunity to dress some really cool people, Jennifer Lopez and Nicki Minaj and Moira Rose, which is mind-boggling.
Can we just have a moment for Moira Rose? I think our entire family did a collective little bit of a wee in our pants when that happened. It was just
madness.
Epic. Madness.
Someone asked me in an interview recently, they were like, so who was it that you really want to dress? I'm like, I'm not putting any sort of list together because the most off the wall, unexpected people have come my way, and it's been mental, like Moira Rose, and recently Angela Bassett.
Now,
madness.
As a Tina Turner fan, which thanks to Granda, it was Granda who brought Tina into our lives, and I know that you know pretty much the entire dialogue to the I, Tina movie. How does it feel to have somebody who got that close to Ike to actually wear something that you have made?
It was really mental. Like Angela Bassett, it's so weird because when I talked to the amazing team that do the PR for me, and we're like talking about pop stars that'd be great to get on, and people would be great to get on, people like Angela Bassett don't click in that radar because you just think, well, that's Angela Bassett. She's over there in her own, doing her own thing. Like, no,
that is a whole nother realm. Exactly. That's a level of black excellence that feels like it's almost untouchable.
Oh, madness. Absolute madness. So that was completely, I knew that they had borrowed some things and they were thinking they were going to try some stuff for this award show. But as a start, I've been a stylist for 20 odd years, as you know. So I know how it works. You call in loads of things to find that one dress. You've got 100 on the rail. So I never, you don't sort of count your eggs until they've hatched.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. Till she's actually wearing it out there and it's in a photograph. Then it didn't happen. But that happened, which was just insane. I wasn't expecting it at all.
Yeah, it feels like the last couple of years have just been one mind-blowing person after the next.
It's been a bit bonkers.
Hasn't it though?
Yeah, it really has, yeah.
But you know what? I think I don't think anybody deserves that more than you. Because, like I said, I do think you're a creative force to be reckoned with. And I think a lot of people would know you because of the gigs that you've styled and you know, the stuff that you've done in Ireland, being a TV presenter, doing all of these things. But I think for somebody obviously who knows you quite well, and has known you for quite a long time, I'm very old and you were older, creativity is part of who you are. And it has always been. Would you agree with me?
Well, yeah. I like making things. I like making things with my hands. I always have, like, from the time I was a kid, I was always, you know, putting shit together, making stuff, no matter what it was, whether it was crap around the house or making outfits, you know, turning myself into the Michael Jackson Bad era, using all of Mother's accessories and doing the full routine for the neighbours in the garden. But I walked around Darndale with all of my belts strapped
full
around
trilby
my legs. Then I moved to Smooth Criminal, Grandad's trilby, the full, like, shebang. I've always been into the idea of dressing up and characters and making stuff, and if I can't have it, sure, I'll make it. I'll just do it. And you said in a recent interview on an Irish TV show that, you know, Ma was a huge inspiration for you, kind of style-wise. Now, you and I both know that Phyllis could turn a look. Absolutely turn a look. Had her shit together. Like, she was so cool. But it was the tiny little things that I always remember, like the things that I took with me as a stylist. Like, she had this one pair of earrings. You were really young. She had this one pair of earrings that had this kind of pearly bit in the middle, and she wore them all the time. She always wore them out, but every time she wore them out, she painted the center with her nail polish, so they matched. So they, like, that has always stuck with me, like, the detail, that level of detail. But also the simplicity of, how do I make this whole thing come together? I paint my earrings with me now.
I always remember the necklace that she had that had all of these. It was a big gold chunky necklace. Like, that's where my love of anything oversized and chunky comes from. This gold necklace that had loads of different, like, things from the sea. It had fish on it, and it had starfish and loads of different shaped shells. And, like, going to the airfield disco on a Friday night, I had my black velvet choker, as you did, standard, have to have it.
And one of those charms.
Every week.
You're going to get away with stealing one at a time.
Every week I would replace it, take another one, take one major from her smoke box, put that behind my ear, take one charm from her necklace and stick it on my choker.
I mean, but Willie wasn't shy of a look either.
No.
That was also, I mean, I still have Dad's charm bracelet with the fish.
Oh my God, you do?
Yeah.
This is the part that, you know, obviously there's a few years difference between us age-wise, and this is the part that maybe I didn't take as much notice of, because there was no denying that Phyllis is fabulous. No, there's absolutely no denying that. You know, Stevie Wonder could look at Phyllis and know that she's wearing a look. You know,
and she would call us to tell us that.
Of course she would. But I think with Da, I was thinking about this earlier today, and I was like, what was Da's aesthetic? Now, when I think of Da now, I'm just like, he is rocking head to toe the quintessential African uncle. Like, it's a tracksuit bottom and a sensible walking sandal, and there's a leather case to match the flip phone, and he works it. He wears it very well. But I never really thought of Da as being that kind of style inspiration growing up.
That was always so well put together, well put together. And I always remember looking at pictures of, like, when Mom and Dad got together. So obviously in the 70s. So Dad in the 70s is what I aspire to look like now, personally. And it's also, like, the major thing in my men's styling work. Everything kind of circles back to Dad in the 70s, which is sort of Cuban drug dealer kind of vibes. Not that he was Cuban or a drug dealer, but that's what he looked like.
No, he's actually an African chef. The Cape Verdean chef.
An African chef, but looked like a Cuban drug dealer. Like, he's, like, running drugs across the border on a boat somewhere. That's what he looked like.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I've slept on that a bit now. I feel a bit bad.
Oh, you can go back and pay some attention.
Yeah, I do, actually.
Into that, like, I really don't care. I'm just going to wear a tracksuit and my nice shoes.
Yeah.
And a big oversized sports jacket and a baseball cap and some wraparound sunglasses, which is very Balenciaga.
Do you know what? Actually, I have a couple of photos of him because I've seen him recently, as you know. And I just took a trilby hat on him. And I was like, the tracksuit bottom with the one leg rolled up, I was like, Will, you're giving me full like if LL Cool J was a pimp vibes. And I'm kind of feeling it.
Totally.
Yeah. And just the fact that he hasn't aged in the last 25 years doesn't hurt.
I think so. For me, if you take a bit of ma and a bit of da, like if you understand what they looked like when I was growing up, then everything that I do with my work completely resonates back to that. Like it all makes total sense. Total sense. I'm just replicating what I saw at home.
But this is what I want to know. Is yes, you took inspiration from what you've seen around you, but you have always had this absolute unwavering, unapologetic sense of self. That level of confidence for like being the only brown, the only like mixed race kid pretty much around where we lived at the time, that you were walking the streets of Darndale head to toe as Michael Jackson, and you were completely unfazed by anything and everybody. And that I have to say, that is something that I admire in you so much. But I would love to know where that comes from.
I haven't a clue. But I haven't a clue.
Great, thanks. It's been lovely.
You know what it is? And I say this now as an adult, but I genuinely believed this growing up as a kid. Someone else's opinion of me is none of my business. I genuinely don't care. It was like what somebody else would think. If I wanted to do something and I was feeling it, I'm gonna have a go.
Yeah, you're just gonna do it.
I just genuinely really don't care. I don't know where it comes from.
See, I would say that I'm very similar.
Yeah,
very, very similar. I do what I want, wear what I want, and I just think the older I'm getting as well, I just feel like I am embodying. I said what I said and I wore what I wore.
Absolutely.
More and more every day. But a huge part of that comes from you. Because stereotypical baby sister looking up to big brother. You have exactly. But you have instilled so much of that self-confidence and self-belief, and like without getting too hallmark about it, you have definitely had an impact in the way I am and how I am is hugely down to you. You know, it was the getting picked on, or, you know, having somebody on the street slag you because of your hair or my skin color and coming in upset and you going, oh, Stephen Kelly, his ma does sunbeds. Why don't you tell him his ma does sunbeds? She'd love to be your color. And me going, my brother said. But you absolutely instilled that in me. So I'm just curious as to where you got it from.
Where does it come from? Does it come? Because it doesn't come from ma. It definitely doesn't come from ma. No, it doesn't come from ma. I don't know. Dad's very calm and very confident and genuinely doesn't care what anyone else thinks.
No, hasn't got a single.
Not an ounce of it. He just rocks on with whatever he wants to do. My thing is, as long as you're not hurting anybody else, and you go to bed at night going, I didn't fuck anybody over today and I had to go, then you can do what you want.
Yeah.
And you should be allowed to do what you want.
Yeah, but this is something as well that I really admire about you, because you do just do whatever. You have a go at absolutely everything. Whether you know how to do it or not. You're like, I'll just give it a shot. So it almost feels like you have absolutely no fear of failure whatsoever. Just as a person, as a creative, you just throw it all into the mix and see what happens.
Well, the thing is, like, as a creative, if it's a job, if it's a gig, I know, you know, it has to be all right by the time it needs to be ready, because there is no other option other than, you know, if I'm dressing somebody and none of the clothes have turned up and she's going to go and do a music video or be on stage, I have to figure it out somehow or another. I have to figure it out. So I don't allow myself to get stressed about that process.
Yeah.
I just trust that somehow
it will all come together.
Because it has to.
Yeah.
She's on stage at 7:00. She better be wearing something.
Yeah.
So somehow, somewhere, I will find that thing and I will make it work. And I trust that that's going to happen. It's all good vibes. And that kind of goes into everything. So if someone says, can you do X, Y, Z? Or will you do X, Y, Z? I think that sounds like fun. Yeah, I can do that.
Sure.
Like I remember years ago getting a phone call from I was maybe 17 or something, from some RTE program they were like, can you break dance? Because we're shooting this commercial on Monday and we need someone who can break dance, like a comedy sketch show. I was like, yes, I can break dance. And then got off the phone going, right, I've got 3 days to learn how to do a windmill because I just told them that I could, but I need the money, so I got to get the shit together.
Yeah, so, I'll figure it out.
Stalled out a windmill by Monday. Like you got to
do it.
Yeah, if it sounds like it's going to be fun,
just
then why not have a go?
Yeah,
but try really hard, you know.
But this is the thing. When I think about the amount of things that you've done and the amount of jobs that you have had, where I suppose it's probably that, yeah, I'll give it a shot and I'll make it work attitude that has gotten you there. You know, like you've been a choreographer, but
just like that.
Never took dance lesson.
No. We just said, me and Mark just said we were choreographers and then ran a dance school.
But this is
like years.
But this is where I think this is fascinating and where I think it just is part of who you are. Like I just had a flashback there of, do you remember starting a club in our back garden shed that had no roof?
Was it the Mushroom Club?
It was the Mushroom Club. And but this is what you did. So every child on the road had to pay to get in. But do you remember what the activity of the Mushroom Club was?
I want to say cleaning it.
They had to clean the garden.
So entrepreneurial.
Yeah, very entrepreneurial. But I just think it's just absolutely fascinating.
Jesus.
That just there was something built within your DNA that clearly the rest of us did not get, where it's just like, yeah, I'll give it a go, I'll do it, and I'll make some money out of it.
Well, I'll always give it a go if it sounds like fun. Absolutely. And like I have had loads of different jobs, but all of them, like none of them were ever a plan, you know? Like I never sat down and went, I want to be a TV presenter, or I wanted, like there was never, as like growing up, there was never a plan. It was just if an opportunity came my way and it sounded like it was going to be fun, then I said very much trusting in the universe. Something comes your way and it's meant to work, then it works. Just
and I think
in it, you know?
Most people would know you from, like, as a TV presenter from shows like Off the Rails and The Afternoon Show, where you very much became like the household name. You were the guy to go to when it came to styling. But I think a lot of people don't know that actually your TV presenting career started on Action Station Saturday, where you did a presentation on Acid Rain.
Now I have a question. What happened to Acid Rain? Where's that gone?
I was actually going to ask you, since you were the, you were the 9-year-old expert on it all.
Remember that? Actually, I had the worst curly mullet.
No, you didn't. It was fantastic. What are you talking about? You were in your Michael Jackson element.
Oh, I was in the bad phase.
Yeah, you were in the absolute height of it. But yeah, you did Action Station Saturday, but then again, you had no experience doing any of these things. But I remember you being on a TV show, I can't remember the name of it, that you interviewed literally everyone from RuPaul to Coolio. And I think you were like 17 or 18.
It was called TX, and I went. It was just before. It was around the time when the band was starting, or we were figuring stuff out. And my manager, the manager of the band, said they're doing this TV show training for this new program. They're doing like a presenter workshop for a weekend. You should go. I've got mates who work there. I'll get you on the training thing. Not as a presenter, but he was like, if you understand what the presenters have to do in an interview as an interviewee, you'll understand how to get your point across better.
Okay.
Like if you understand both sides of the conversation, then you have more control over it. So I went to do this training just to get some tips, and then by the end of it they said, here, do you want a job? So they gave me a gig as a roving reporter on TX, and I did end up doing some of the interviews, which I wasn't supposed to do, but I'm at 17 or however old I was, 18 maybe, at the production meeting where I was just the roving reporter guy in the background doing the thing, but obviously I'm very gobby, and I'll always put my input into whatever. Yep. So when they were talking about interviewing RuPaul or talking about interviewing Cooley, I'll be like, oh, you should ask me about this, ask me about this, ask me that. And then they've let me do it.
You might have been a bit gobby, but I think you were probably you were the cool kid who probably knew more about what was going on.
Very enthusiastic.
Yeah.
I'm always very enthusiastic about everything. Otherwise, what's the point?
Do you know what? Actually, you've just reminded me something there. You did a live with Andrew Fitzsimons last year.
Yes.
So another absolute exceptional Irish talent. And you said something in that interview that definitely resonated with me, definitely stuck with me. But it was always something that I have done, but I hadn't put words to it, if that makes sense. You said to always, when you're on a job, and I do this myself, whether I'm doing makeup for a shoot or a show or a wedding or whatever the case may be, is to always be engaged, but be engaging.
Yeah.
And that has just stuck in my head since the day that you said it. And I just want you to tell me why you think that's really important.
Because we all go to work for a really long time, and we have to go there all the time. But they pay us to go, so that's okay. But I want work to be as entertaining, as nice and normal, as cool a place as possible. I want it to be as fun. But just don't be yourself, people shy away from actually letting all of them out. Let all of you out at all times. I mean, you only get, it's cliched, you only get one life, but you do. So just put
do you think it's a bit of
into everything you're doing? Otherwise, why are you doing it? Don't half-arse anything. Be engaging, be engaged in what's going on, but also be interested.
Care about all of it, all of the bits. Care about
all of it. Care about all of it. Actually give a shit. No matter what it is you're doing, if you actually give a shit, it'll be great.
Yeah.
Of course it will.
Yeah. But I think you just seem like you just don't seem to suffer from imposter syndrome.
No.
No.
I just know that I'm a chancer. It's not imposter syndrome. But I'm telling you, I don't have imposter syndrome. I'm telling you here and now. I'm chancing my arm in most of these things. Can you do this? Yeah, I can. Yeah. I mean, even so, at the moment, I have a women's wear label, which is going really well. But that was just a thing that I made for a job. And someone said, "Oh, do you think we could sell them in my shop?" And I went, "Yeah, sure, we'll have a go."
Give it a shot.
And then Paris Hilton and a couple of supermodels bought the first few of them, and we all went, "Oh, hold on." But that was just chancing my arm, having a go. I think even now, it's not imposter syndrome, but maybe I don't know. Now at times I feel it weird going, I'm a fashion designer. But reading it, and there was a review of Angela Bassett's outfit in People magazine, and they talked about her sexy evening gown by Elaine Cruz, and it made me go, "Oh,
that's me,
fashion designer." that one seems a bit weird. This was definitely not.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that you've said that, because I have always looked at you as being a fashion designer, whether you had a label or not. And that I'm going back to, God, I don't even know what year. I'm even talking pre-Debstress, where I think I might have bought you your first sewing machine.
You did. And you know what?
Didn't I?
It's still the sewing machine I use.
Yes. Great. I want extra discount on top of the family discounts now. I'll have that too. But yeah, you to me have always been a designer. And yeah, the Debstress disaster. I need to talk about that. So I had paid an absolute small fortune to have the Debstress of my dreams made, which I wanted to be stereotypical, your classic silhouette of a Debstress.
A Debstress.
But I wanted it to be in a weird fabric. So I wanted it to be denim. But I have to make this really clear. This was pre Brittany and Justin. They hadn't done this yet. So I actually...
They weren't born. They were children.
No, they were only children. I'm ancient, never mind the good life. So I had this Debstress made, and it was an absolute disaster.
I remember that it turned up on the day of your day.
It was the day before.
Oh, the
day before I went to pick it up.
Time to do anything about it.
It was so bad, and I was in the middle of O'Connell Street, sobbing, snotting like a 2-year-old, because the only bit I liked was obviously the diamante straps, which were the most expensive bit from, I think, Claire's Accessories. And I was devastated. I was like, I can't go. And I will never forget this day. You just went, calm down, take a breath. I want you to find the nearest secondhand shop and go and buy yourself a pair of jeans that just fit really nice. So the only pair of jeans that I found that fit me was a pair of 1970s dark indigo bell bottoms. Now, when I tell you they were bell bottoms, they were bell bottoms. Like, one side was actually in the 1970s. And I rocked over to your apartment, which I think at the time you had just bubble wrapped your bathroom floor.
It was my bedroom floor.
It was your bedroom floor.
It was my bedroom floor. Yes,
yeah, that's where the creative genius starts to overspill. I also remember there was some plastic, like potted plants, maybe glued to the top of your toilet seat.
Quite possibly. There was a twister board in the cupboards. I remember that.
I think there was a stage where
really drunk people tried to play Twister up the kitchen wall.
And every second thing was black and gold leopard print.
Yeah, including
your hair.
And the walls and my hair. Yeah.
But yeah, I rocked up to your apartment with this like £17 pair of jeans, and you grabbed out a bag of bits from behind your sofa,
which I remember included some of that ball chain that you have on your tap, on your like plug,
on the plug,
and some scraps of white leather and a pot of gold paint. There
was a strip of white leather. I think there might have been a piece of red suede.
Yes, there was.
Yeah. It was a halter neck. And the halter neck was the waistband of the jeans. It was held together, like corseted up the back with the chain off your stopper. I got a handbag that was the 2 arse pockets of a pair of Levi's.
And your fella got a tie.
You got a matching tie. And then it all got brought into your bathroom, and you thrown a tin of gold paint at it. You also convinced me to wear a gold lame sock.
And a stripper heel.
And a pair of clear stripper heels.
And then you had the fabulous Farrah Fawcett flick.
Farrah Fawcett flick.
Who's an old school hairdresser who was like, I could do that Farrah flick and sleep.
She was like, haven't done it since I did it on myself, but yep, I'll have it. And you brought me into Leslie Keane and Mac to have my makeup done, and every single thing on my face was gold. My eyes were gold, my lips are gold, my skin was gold. And I think that was the day that I absolutely fell in love with makeup. I was like, I want to do this. I need to do this because I need to be able to be this. I want to be the inside of a dairy milk every single day of the week. But it's those little moments where I'm like, this is just who you are. That to me, you've always been a fashion designer, whether Angela Bassett was wearing it or it was me in a pair of 17 quid Scaldy bell bottoms. It's just...
It just feels weird now when they like write it in the magazine. That's weird. That's weird. It's good weird. It's good weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always hot glued
something.
Something.
So I actually want to ask you. So you have you've dabbled in everything, you've thrown your hands to everything, and you have always made it work. So the one thing that I realized that you have dipped your toe into but never actually taken on as a career is hairdressing.
No, I don't do that. When did I dip my toe in hairdressing? What did I do to you?
Okay.
What did I do?
So I
Because
actually
I know
spoke
that
to.
I straightened Sandra's hair, and apparently it's never been the same since.
It's never been the same since. She only spoke to me about this morning. She is still traumatized. She is also on an Olaplex journey, and I don't think it's ever going to recover whatever you did to her.
What did I do?
But you,
you
again, me wanting to be like the cool brown kid. For my confirmation, I went to the hairdressers and I wanted my hair cut like T-Boss from TLC. I wanted like the bowler haircut with the locks. I also wanted to wear those wader trousers from the What a Man video. But Ma was like, no, it's a step too far. We're not doing that. I don't know where there's a fishing shop. We're not getting them. But I wanted the haircut. So she brought me to some nana hairdressers. And I got like the stereotypical 64-year-old Margaret from down the road haircut. So
Lovely.
I got the kind of choppy bowl, but I didn't get the locks, which, let's be fair, that's kind of what it was all about. So I was heartbroken, devastated. Pretty much. I remember walking to the top of our street and having a kid come over to me and say, "Are you a boy or a girl?" And I was devastated. So I stayed in the house. I pulled up my Eclipse hoodie as far as I could get it, went into the house, cried, and didn't leave for 2 days. And then you came into the house and was like, right, we're going to make this a thing.
I can't remember what happened.
You turned me with a bottle of conditioner. You turned me into Toni Braxton. Do you remember with she had the gel down, she had a finger wave. And from that day, I was like, okay, I am going to trust this man with my entire life. Previously to that, you'd also taught me how to do a braid. Don't know if you remember that. You taught me how to plait hair.
Did I?
Yes. I also gave you your first ever head full of braids. Do you remember that?
With elastic bands on the end of them?
No, we didn't do elastic bands. You talked me through the process, and you actually made me take, I think it was somebody's christening candle from Granny's house.
I do remember.
Melt it down in a pot in the kitchen, braid your hair, and wax the ends of them shut. But yeah, so I've just always completely trusted you, and I was like, okay, everything he tries his hand at, he's good at. So yeah, we'll let him do hair as well. And then Khalees showed up with a hot pink band around the bottom of her hair. And you were like, of course I can do that.
Did it all go wrong? I don't remember any of this hair period. I blocked it out.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, unfortunately, me and your other sister are still traumatized. So my hair was the color of my lipstick. It was an ombre, and after 2 washes, turned into a blue rinse.
I mean, it sounds about right.
It does sound about right. So I think do you know what? There's a comfort in knowing that you're not absolutely exceptional at everything.
I never claimed to be absolutely exceptional at anything, but
yeah, but you kind of are.
Not my thing. I mean, look at me.
I know, but you've had some good looks.
I have had some hair
over the years.
We've had
you
some
have.
Yeah,
but I do think your Michael Jackson mullet was definitely one of my favorites.
When we couldn't get, it was Ireland. It was whenever it was, you couldn't get like hair products to make it happen properly. So I used to just put loads of conditioner in my hair and let it dry in to give me a full-on Jerry curl, Michael Jackson bad mullet.
But you had to do that every Friday to go to the Airfield Disco to compete in the dance competition that you won every single week. You always came home with £5, and I think it was a can of Coke.
And once a box in the head, but then Ma taught me I'll teach you how to defend yourself, and I almost broke my arm in the kitchen.
Who gave you a box in the head?
I don't know. Some kid in the disco didn't like me dancing.
I'm very surprised by that, because
only time I've ever had a box in the head in my life.
But you've always been like the local celebrity, even from being a kid. Like Sandra only said to me this morning that she couldn't actually get into the airfield disco because you had to be 9. And she wasn't 9 yet. So she would just go up to the door and be like, I'm Graham Cruz's sister. Like, I'm name dropping at 7. And you were like, oh, you're Graham's. Oh, come on in. Absolutely, come on in.
Stop.
Yeah. But this is what I'm saying to you is you make an incredible impact on people. And I've lost you. Where did you go, my lovely?
Tell you what, I just have messed it up.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah, I heard you say I just have fucked it up. That's what I just have done. So I tell you one thing I can't do: technology. I'm like Nana in the corner.
Yeah. I was like, where did you go, my lovely? Well, first time back. I don't know what I was saying now. Yeah, I was just saying you just have, and I don't think you realize that you have a massive impact, a really positive impact on the people that you are around. And as your sister, it's just always been really nice to be cool by association. So just as a little side gig, thanks for that.
Doesn't everyone impacts all of the people around? Everyone
but
does.
Not
and I think if
always
everybody
positively.
makes sure, just be lovely. Yeah. Just be lovely. Like, I think people make their life and the whole world way more complicated than it needs to be. If you want to be happy, then I've found the secret. You just decide to be happy right here, right now, what you've got now, not if or when. I'll be happy when I get that job. I'll be happy if I get this thing. I'll be happy when that happens. No, decide to be happy right now with what you've got. I've got £4 in the bank. I'm gonna be happy. Not saying that, be oblivious to the world and what's going on around you,
of course not,
or just your situation, but be happy.
It's a choice.
It's a choice. It genuinely is a choice. And I made a choice a long time ago to be happy. And my life is so much happier because of it. My life is like, things I work really hard, but I like working. And life is easy in a way because I accept what's going on around me. I don't massively push. I'm not like climbing upstream. I'm swimming upstream. I'm like,
but climbing it will be even harder.
It would be really hard, but really easy going. And I think I always have been.
Yeah.
I mean, I lost my way for a few years and it wasn't so easy going and had a stressy time, and I just moved to London and it was all very different and it was all a bit shit and I didn't have any work for ages and I got in a bit of a funk. But
that was something I actually wanted to ask you about, because I feel like you moved to London when you were kind of at your peak of career in Ireland. You were a household name. You were the most booked stylist. And then you decided to move to London, what, about 12 years ago?
13 years ago in September.
13 years ago. And obviously felt like, all of a sudden you became a small fish in a massive pond, one of the biggest ponds. So how did you push through that?
Well, for the first 6 months, me and my friend Jack Daniels got me through a lot of it. I was in a shitty time. I had a shitty time for a while because I had no work. Didn't know anybody. It was just really fucking tough.
Hard.
But then you just have to like pull yourself up. Like, what am I going to do? Sitting at home, wallow in this? Yeah. The fact that I'm starting from scratch. I've worked really hard for a long time, and now I've come to London, coming out of Ireland, and at the time, my work that I had done in Ireland didn't seem relevant in London, because London's London. It's huge. It's massive. It's one of the fashion capitals of the world. Dublin's amazing, but it isn't one of the fashion capitals of the world. People come from all over the world to London to do their thing, to make it here. So all of a sudden, like, shit, I have to start again from scratch. But that's also quite exciting. Okay, I can start again from scratch, and I'm gonna you
can reinvent yourself and everything you do.
I just pulled my socks up and got on with it. Like, found some people, made some friends, made cold call. I'm a great one for a cold call or an out of the blue email. Hello.
Because that was something else that I wanted to ask you as well, because you are a person who does not wait for opportunities to knock. You know, I think for a lot of creative people, we're always sitting waiting for the next gig. You're waiting for the thing that's going to elevate whatever your work is. But you have never done that. You have always gone, I'm going to do the thing that I want to do first, and then I will create an opportunity to be able to use it, or to make something happen.
I've always
what advice would you give to someone who's sitting and waiting for opportunity to knock?
Get off your arse and make a thing. Do a thing. What is it you want to do? Okay, if there's something that if you're waiting for something to come, there's something that's got to happen that is out of your control, and you need this outside force to happen for you to get where it is you want to go. I understand that. But there's always, no matter what industry you're in or what area of it you're in, there's always some other things you could learn while you're waiting. You could learn something else that's going to add to where you're going. Like look, it's not, if you look at the bigger picture, what else might you, right, when this comes, okay, you're waiting for a record deal and you need other people to come to you. What else could you learn about your craft when that thing does happen? Be more prepared. Like, instead of sitting waiting, use that time to make yourself more prepared. So when it does happen,
you're over ready.
You're ready. Or just get out and try it. Start doing stuff. I find that, you know, the more positive energy you put out, the more bounces back at you. And if you're sitting at home waiting for a thing, that's not very positive energy. You're not putting energy out. Like, get off your ass and do a thing. Be your own motivation. Learn something. This first lockdown, I absolutely loved this first lockdown. Like, right, I've got no work, don't know what's going on, but I'm going to go into my studio every day. And wouldn't it be great if you could airbrush velvet onto metallic mirrors? That's a great idea. I'm going to figure out how to do that. Like, use the time to do something. I don't really sit around idle very much. There's always something clicking over that, I wonder if you can direct a music video on your iPhone, or, you know, what happens if you do this?
Turns out you can.
Turns out you can, yeah.
You can do absolutely anything you want if you just get up off your arse and do it.
And have a go. And
give it a shot.
And again, and do it with what you've got. You know, I'm the kind of, like, what have I got around me? Right, I need to do this. I need to make a video.
Yeah.
I've got a phone. I've got a bicycle torch.
You've got your sister. You've got a roll of black duct tape. We're going to try. We don't have any cameras. We have no film lenses. But, Elaine, we're in your kitchen. So can you stick that bit to your phone and just film me doing this?
Totally. Exactly that. Exactly that. Like, it's full. I watched a lot of Macgyver as a kid.
Yeah, you did.
I watched a lot of Macgyver. I watched a lot of the A-Team, Street Hawk, all of those programs, and they were always about somebody being in a tricky situation and having to use what's around them to get themselves out. That's how I.
So rewatch the 80s
Macgyver.
Classics.
Yeah.
Get up off your arse.
Television.
Get up off your arse and try a thing.
Have a go.
What's the worst that's going to happen?
Why don't you? Wasn't that? I loved that show too.
Yeah.
Art Attack Your Life.
Art Attack. Go full Neil Buchanan on all of it.
Neil Buchanan. Totally.
So I have a couple of rapid fire questions that I want to ask you. Okay. As we've already made quite clear, you're kind of amazing at pretty much everything that you do. So you're also a really good cook. So what is for dinner?
Gav's cooking a roast. I'm not cooking dinner tonight.
It'll be fantastic though, because he can cook up a storm too.
Best roast in the world.
Yeah, like he spends 16 hours making gravy.
Literally.
What is the best gig you've ever been to?
Prince Diamonds and Pearls was the first gig I ever went to. Blew my mind.
Just had a flashback of you doing full choreography to Cream.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll send you a video afterwards. Well, I'm going to try and recreate that.
It
was very raunchy for a teenager.
It was filth.
Absolute filth. What is your signature cocktail? Because you're also really good at making them.
It changes right now. It's a passion fruit margarita.
Sold. What is on your playlist right now?
Dawn Richards. That woman.
Yeah.
So good.
You've changed my life in the last 24 hours.
So good. The album's called Second Line. Get involved.
What has been your go-to lockdown aesthetic?
Well, actually, just literally this jumper. I've lived in this jumper every single day.
Yeah, mine's a Penny's leggings, but unless there's a hole in them, I'm not putting them on.
I've lived in a tracksuit because I've come to the studio and covered myself in dirt and dust.
And glitter and gick.
Yeah.
Okay. Ma's stew or Dad's one pot chicken pasta?
Oh, the one pot chicken pasta because I can make a better stew.
Don't tell her that. It's the only thing she can make.
The one pot chicken pasta.
Yeah. Who's your favourite sibling?
Jackson.
You can't do that. You can't do that. Aside from smoked cod, what do you miss most about Ireland?
The heel of a batch loaf.
and a half a block of dairy gold.
The heel of a batch loaf covered in dairy gold. I mean,
yeah, you just can't beat that. You cannot beat that.
You can't.
That's all I wanted to do because I was over with Dad for a few months, and that's all I wanted. I was like, I just want the heel of a batch loaf. I want
like
a package of King.
Just stick the heel in the post. I don't even need the whole thing.
Yeah,
just the heel.
Do you know what? I actually heard the other day that there are people that call the heel of the bread the hoe of the bread because everybody's had their hands on it, but no one wants it. Oh. I'm like, I'll take the hoe all day.
Drip and butter and send her my way.
Any day. This is kind of a personal one as well, and probably not as rapid fire, but now that Ireland we're starting to be allowed out now, it's no longer illegal to go past the spar. Most of us, our clothes don't fit. We feel fat and boring and uninspired. So if you had a piece of styling advice to Ireland in general, coming out of this lockdown, when it comes to your wardrobe, what would your one piece of advice be?
My huge piece of advice would be, do not even attempt to get into a sandal or a flip-flop till you've sorted out them feet.
My petty's always on fleek. Just
yours.
Just mine.
Just yours.
What is next for you, and where can people find you?
What's next for me? Well, 1st of June, I open a new web store, grahamcruz.studio, where you will be able to buy my new jewellery line. I'm making jewellery now, by the way, did I tell you? Yeah, so that's what's next for me. So I'm currently knee deep in earrings. So you can find that at www.grahamcruz.studio.
I better find it in the living room.
You will, yeah.
That's where I want to find
it. Out of your head.
Yeah. And where can people go and look at all of your beautiful things and just go and appreciate your work?
You can have a little look on Instagram. It is grahamcruz.studio. I like to keep it simple. It's just me.
Name. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Here you are.
Yeah. And I think that's all we have time for.
I think so.
But can I just say, it's always lovely to talk to you, but I just want to say a massive thank you for just being who you are, because I really don't feel, and I mean this genuinely, that I don't think I would be who I am if it wasn't for you. You bought me my first set of makeup brushes, which was what was the kick up the ass that I needed to go and pursue my career in makeup. So I think everybody should take a little leaf out of your book and thank you for being my friend. Oh, when it's legal, I will travel again. It's been lovely. Oh, I can't wait. Give us a cocktail. Yeah. So I am going to go and get myself a cup of berries, and I will hopefully chat to you real soon.
I'll talk to you later.
Love you,
Thanks,
bruv.
sis. Love you too, sis.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Irish Roots. Irish Roots is a completely volunteer-led festival. If you can donate, please do. For more information and to see what else is happening, jump over to our website. It's www.iamirish.org. From all of us at I Am Irish, Gurav Mila Mahagut.